Lumpur, 3 o'clock in the well, slightly later after the afternoon.
Usually it's
4. It starts raining. I'm in my high heels.
You're in your high heels.
Yeah, you know, parking lot, puddle. Not a happy girl.
Not a happy girl. Yes. I can imagine if you were wearing something worth
$300 shoes, man. You know, you don't want to get it wet, especially if it's suede or velvet. You know, I know I sound like a typical girl, but hey, you know, you got to protect your shoes. And, you know, among other things, of course, looking at the bigger picture, how it's actually, you know, more comfortable for, you know, all of us to
It's more comfortable driving on, you know, tar than water anyway. So
we actually have. This is what we're gonna get into. If you can see at the studio today, there's this wonderful magical thing that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, it almost looks like a magical stone, but we'll tell you more about it. Let's bring in our guest first. This is the Gold Green segment, and we're talking about ZackLim. We've got Matthias Galber as usual, our green man and Loas country manager. We've got Mr. Lim Eng Hock on our far right. He's the managing director of ZackLim Group. And we've got Mr. Andrea Briglia, international sales manager of ZackLim. Thank you for joining us. And if I had said where Zaleha is now, we'd have the conference of ball men.
All very shiny in the morning.
All very shiny.
And I see you have something on you today.
Yes, I went to the German ambassador's house for the football party. It started off as a party, but obviously, you know, there were mainly Germans there, but there were Chelsea fans there too.
Really?
So this is the official kit from the Munich stadium, because the ambassador was in Germany earlier on in the week and he bought this.
Wow.
And we bought it back for charity. So, and this is the solidarity style. We support both Chelsea and Bayern Munich, even though most of the Germans were obviously not so happy at Bayern Munich, but I'm sure your producer was very excited.
He still is.
Right? He still is. So
let me just say something that was at the stadium. Unser Stadt, unser Stadion, unser Pokal. What does that mean?
Unsere Stadt, our city, unser Stadium, our stadium, unser Pokal, our trophy.
Obviously not.
There we go.
So mean.
No, I'm just kidding. Just rubbing that in because I know he's probably a Bayern Munich fan.
And I did some other exciting things actually this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gave some hijau talks. I gave a green talk for the German alumni. There's a group of students that have studied in Germany, and they wanted to know more about how we can make Malaysia green. So that was a fun event this week. And then I went to the German Malaysian Institute in Bangui. I always wondered, what is this thing about? Finally, I was there. They did a great hijau event. They collected all the waste there. They collected all of the stuff that they could find. They planted trees, and I gave a hijau talk there. And one of the things that links to what we're doing, they had actually problems with the drains clogging up with some of the waste that was floating around there. So that was great fun. And then next weekend we've got a lot of green events coming up.
Where's that going to be at?
One is in Shah Alam, tree planting, 27th. Then there's a great event happening in Malacca, Project Revive with Green Action. I think we're going to have a green techno dance session there as well.
Wow.
So loads of people should be turning up in Malacca. And there is an event called Eco Plaza, Saturday and Sunday next to Zoo Negara. That promises to be a great event with loads of organizations as well. So people should be joining the hijau action this weekend.
That's right. Fantastic stuff.
Sounds like an action-packed calendar,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So what do we have here?
Mitigating Zaleha's high heels in flooded situation.
Hey, it's kind of difficult when you have kids, okay?
Okay.
All right, so tell us what this is about.
So this basically is a pervious concrete. So it's a concrete that allows water to go through and can directly recharge the ground. And so basically all the pollutants going through can be destroyed by the biology and the chemistry inside the soil. Whereas if you have an impervious surface, the water has got nowhere to go. So basically we'll go into scupper drains or directly into stream and rivers, and 90% of this water is polluted. So it will destroy in a way the ecosystem. So with this pervious concrete, which is not something new, is something to go back into the past because it was introduced in 1977. So basically because of the green issue nowadays is coming back.
Interesting how things from the 70s are coming back. The electric car. There's a movie on who killed the electric car.
Mr. Lim, how long has this been here in Malaysia? Are you the first group to introduce this?
Yes, actually, this is, like I say, it's not new, but
Alright.
we find that this product is actually right when people are talking about green, about sustainability and all that, right? Okay, basically, why is green is because basically this previous concrete can be made from a lot of recycled products, all right? Like fly ash, slags. These are products actually byproducts when they manufactured the steels and all that. They actually dust collected. They can use this to mix with the concrete to produce previous concrete. Like this.
I am dying to put it to test.
Yes.
Yep, okay.
Yes. So this is a talk show, but it's also an action show.
Yeah.
If
So
you
let's see.
have water all over the carpet, I'm sorry, Iqmal.
There
Your
goes.
set will be destroyed.
Now, if this was a
Look
normal piece
at
of
that.
concrete,
If we can just zoom in right there.
Yeah, if it would be a normal one, it would be floating all
Yeah,
over the
we'll be
place,
swimming
running
with
off
water
here.
right now.
And I mean, that kind of represents what we have in a flood scenario. Normally, the water just runs off. There's nowhere for the water to go. I actually read that the big floods they had in Thailand last year, 16 years ago, they had the same amount of waterfall, but they had loads of floodplains and areas where the water could actually be absorbed by the soil. Now we have put most of that into concrete, so no way for the soil to absorb the water anymore. This actually gives the soil the opportunity to absorb the water, so it's a very interesting way to prevent the risk of flash floods.
How suitable is this for Malaysian weather?
With weather, there's no problem because it's, I think, 30 years long lasting, it's UV stable, and it's suitable for heavier rain environment because the rain just goes through, so you reduce the risk of flood scenarios.
since it's pervious, how durable is it? That's the next question.
The life cycle cost is one of the economical benefits, and one parking lots made by pervious concrete can basically last between 20 and 40 years, as well as conventional concrete. Compared to conventional concrete, the compressive strength is slightly less, so it ranges anywhere from 500 to 3000 psi, slightly less than conventional concrete. That's why we can use it just for low-density roads, parking lots, driveways, and golf buggy paths, and other low-density kind of usage.
Stables, farms.
Yes, yes.
For the horses.
Yes. It's best suitable for that.
Yes.
Yes.
It's found a niche use for it.
So we know it
Maybe your
lasts.
first customer.
So we know it lasts from 20 to 40 years. How hard it is to maintain this kind of material?
It's not very hard to maintain because, as I said, by seeping through the water, all the pollutants will be distributed into the ground, and the chemistry and the biology, the bacteria, will automatically deteriorate. And it's also green in this sense. Basically, conventional asphalt or concrete road, when the sunlight hits the surface, all the carbon dioxide is redistributed into the atmosphere. But with pervious concrete, you reduce the heat and you distribute less carbon dioxide into the atmosphere.
Okay, now, so here we have a fish tank, so we can see where the water really goes.
Yeah.
But in normal circumstances, let's just say a parking lot is built out of this material, where would the water actually go?
We'll just recharge directly the ground. So basically, if you have a well-compacted soil, let's say a 13 feet made by gravel, then you put a crusher run and you put our pervious concrete on top, the water will automatically charge the ground and, do its natural cycle. So you can actually, for developers, it's a good thing because you can eliminate the use of a retention pond, so you can increase land utilization, and also.
And retention ponds are expensive.
Yeah,
you can
really,
actually save money because they cost quite a lot of money. So
Yeah, if you consider that a big tank for water retention, it costs about 300,000 ringgit. In an overall cost.
The common perception is that, when you have something as great as this, the startup cost is going to be expensive. Is that true?
Yeah, actually, basically, this thing is like probably 20-30% more than the conventional.
Right.
But the long-term saving is there, see? All right. And like I said, most important thing is that we are doing, this green to Mother Nature.
Right.
So what it does is actually, this water gets back into the ground, okay? And then it just charges, what is below. So, yeah.
Now, Matthias often stresses that more people use a certain green product, the cheaper it becomes because it becomes more widespread. What kind of future do you see for concrete material like this in a city like KL?
I think that especially in areas where we have a lot of occurrences of flash floods, this should be something we should try to evaluate the impact of can it reduce the risk of flash flood. Maybe before the elections is a good time to help the local community.
I don't know how much time we have to put that. Checking our election clocks right here.
Yeah, but I think especially what I see as well is that a lot of road areas where you have water building up, they usually have problems with maintenance as well. You usually have, you know, where you have those puddles turning up, the quality of the surface gets eroded.
Yeah.
This could maybe as well help. And I think what ZackLim mentioned earlier on, the overall saving that you have in terms of aggregate, in terms of sand, by being able to use the waste material as well in a safe way as part of the cement replacement there, that reduces the carbon footprint of the whole construction, and it saves natural material because 15 to 20% of this is air. So you're actually reducing the amount of material that you use. So I think this has a very good future. The more people use it, I guess the more competitive the pricing can be, and that's what we want to see with green solutions, high volume uptake.
In terms of popularity, what other countries are currently using this kind of technology right now?
I think it's very popular in the US. It's actually mentioned in the US Green Building Certification for stormwater management, but in the same way here in Malaysia, the GBI, the Green Building Index, you will as well get additional points, both for the replacement of the cement and for the actual positive water feature of reducing the risk of flooding, the storm water management. So US has been classically the most dominant place, I think, where it's been used, but even in Europe, some of those type of pervious concretes are being used as well.
I think when you talk about stormwater, Asia is probably the continent for stormwater. We have probably the most cubic meters of rain in the world. So tell us about where it's applied today here in Malaysia. Are there any companies currently on the uptake for this material?
At the moment, like I say, there's quite a few projects that are very keen in this. Basically, like I say, first, you know, they can reduce their detention pond, because normally nowadays, like a lot of housing projects, they have to build a little retention pond to cater the rainwater, then slowly let it discharge when the rain stops. So with this, you know, you can save, you know, a lot of that. Okay, because like I say, Andrea mentioned about, you know, land use. So imagine you got to build a space to build a detention pond, and it costs money and space. So with this system, you can eliminate that.
So there already are companies using it.
And like I say, you know, you do good to Mother Nature. So this water will actually goes back into the ground rather than goes to the sea and get pollute the sea, you think.
I hope that translates to cost savings for the people that actually buy the homes.
Yep.
We don't know the retention pond cost is included in the 700,000 that we're paying per house. So if that's taken away.
So where can we find more information on this? You know, a lot of people are watching today and they would want to know where to get hold of this product. To know more about this, where can they go to?
Oh, they just can contact me through my email or our email, which is zfs@zacklim.com for inquiry and to go more in-depth discussion if they want to know more about this pervious concrete. And that's it.
All right. So email is the way to go. Find out more about this concrete. What else can you tell us today, Matthias, about going green and how today probably contractors, construction people can make that change?
Yeah, I think it's about increasing awareness that there are loads of green solutions out there. The material itself is very, very important. Often what we've been focusing on is, you know, the visible things like getting the solar system on the roof, which people have classically seen as the main issue, which is very good, but that is requires quite a lot of high upfront cost. That's why sometimes people have been thinking going green is very expensive. The raw material, the material that you use for your paving, for your walls, for your roof, the paint that you use inside, all of these things nowadays, you can use green solutions with hardly any additional extra costs. And often you've got a huge benefit, the paint, you know, it's good for the health of your children. If you use insulated walls, the aerated concrete blocks, the wood wool cement, you actually get the insulation free of charge.
Yep.
So these options are there. Use them when you're building a new house. If you're your own house buyer, ask your developer, are they using these features? Or ask your contractors, your architects to build these things in, because that's good for the environment and good for the ongoing maintenance cost. You will reduce it.
I think it's good that if you have a GBI certification, they should list what goes into the GBI construction. You know, the concrete, paint. You know, it can't just be, oh, he's painting with certified formaldehyde-free paint, so he gets GBI just like that. I mean, it's got to be more stringent rules than that, I think.
It actually is. There's a detailed listing, and it includes things like the carbon footprint of the concrete, like the replacement with the fly ash here, and things like the storm water management, the indoor air quality. There are these categories there. There's detailed listing, so that actually is all included in the GBI.
Right.
And the thing, like, actually this would also helps a lot in safety. Like for example, in the homes, right, where you got any place that is recessed, there's a drop, you can fill it up with this material so that you have a flat surface to walk in. You don't have this trip hazard, and this water would just drain off. All right. The other thing, like a lot of steel grating in the city are all stolen away, all the steel gratings. All right. I think it can be replaced with this material.
All right. Thank you very
so that
much.
in a concrete, nobody will want to steal it, I think.
Very nice, yeah, indeed.
I would want to have this in one of my homes.
If you find something missing, it's in her stables.
Thank you very much for joining us
Alrighty,
today.
thank
And of course, you can go to ZackLim's official website for more information. We're going to be checking out this outstanding performance.
That's right. It's all part of the Putrajaya Jazz Festival, which is going to be happening this year. It's nice to know that it's one jazz festival after the next. Rainforest, Putrajaya. Jazz is catching up here in Malaysia. So here's a performance from Izaz Azhar. He'll be performing for us just before we check out some Super GT Queens.
Ah, that's where you went to. Yeah. All right, so aside from that, we also have an upcoming flick. We're going to be talking to you guys about Aku Ada. I have it, you have it. Aku Ada, Engkau Ada. Yana Samsudin is going to be with us. Huh?
Yeah, it's filmed
in Korea. We actually have a couple of Korean guests in the studio today, but never mind. That's going to be coming up shortly. But before that, Izaz and of course Japan GT action. We'll be with you right back.